I think a lot of people are, and more than want to admit, are afraid of failure. When you do something, and the person who does something as a career, I think they've learned that it's not going to go right 100% of the time. If you're a carpenter, not every time are you going to make that cut perfect. You're going to make a cut too short. You're going to cut something too long, which I would say cutting something too short's more of a problem than cutting something a little too long. You can just cut it a second time. Measure twice, cut once. Um, but I think a lot of people who get into photography, get into automotive stuff, anything where it's a hobby and there's your you know where there's a level of failure possible. Even athletics and really anything you can apply this to. Kind of like this mosquito that needs to. There we go. But speaking to photography, and you can take this and apply this to anything. I think a lot of people are afraid to get out there and just try stuff. They see this image that's beautiful. It's this whatever image. Pick an image that you've seen with photography that you like, and it can just be a type of photography, or just this photo, or something, or anything that you can envision. And like I said, this applies to everything. So pick something that you can envision your goal and what you would like to accomplish. And when you look at it, it's like, great. We're doing. I can do this. I've got the camera. I've got this. I've got that. And you take the time. You need to be out there to catch at a certain time, and just everything goes to plan. But you get out there. You go to take the picture, or whatever it is, and it just doesn't happen for whatever reason. Something just you basically you didn't get that goal that you set out to reach. And you can look at that in two ways. You can look at it, one, as I failed, this didn't work, I'm not trying this again. Or you can look at it and you can say, hey, I did this wrong. I didn't get the result I wanted. I gave it my best. What am I missing here? What else can I do? Do I need what do I need to work on? And practice and learn, and put more effort in. Not just put more effort into that day, but just put more effort into that hobby or that skill or whatever it is, and try again. There's the people that will try something, and the thing is, I think a lot of people don't really see that. Someone who's been doing this for a long time and is very skilled at what they do, they've had all those failures. They've had the mistakes. They've had things go completely wrong. But instead of looking at that and saying, you know what, I can't do this. I'm not any good at this. I'm giving up. I'm not trying this again. They look at the situation, look at what happened, and learn from it. There's plenty of times where, stuff that I do where it didn't go according to my plan. It didn't work out right. But what I do is, instead of, looking at a whole bunch of things to blame, if the blame lies on myself, I take the blame for it. I reach out to the person that I need to meet with again to, to correct whatever needed correcting. And, it's a lot of times it's just explaining, hey, sorry, I got back to the office, this happened, can I meet with you again to, do what needs to be done. And, without getting into, everything of what I do. That's why I'm kind of staying very vague. And I've had people ask, they're like, well, what about if this doesn't work right? And I said, well, if it doesn't work, or if there was a problem, or I did the wrong thing, I'll own it. I've had, people's, kids that are just curious, and it's like, I tell them, they're like, well, what if this happens and this isn't right that you did, and what are you gonna do? I said, I'll own my mistake. I'll call your mom, or your dad, or aunt, uncle, whatever, whoever it is that was there, and it's like, hey, this happened. I need to meet with you again. And that's the thing. It's people look at it and they say, hey, this guy's not trying to, make up all kind of excuses for what happened. It's just, hey, look, you know what? I got back to the office. I hit the wrong button on the computer. Whoops. It was my mistake. Instead of saying, oh, my computer had a glitch and all the stuff that we did got lost. We don't have it. I don't know what happened. I mean, these things happen. It's, instead of coming up with excuses, it's just like, hey, I own my mistake. I hit the wrong button. I, thought it was something else on the computer and hit the wrong button. It was my mistake. And you learn from those mistakes, and you learn how to not have that happen again. And that's the difference between someone who's successful and someone who isn't successful. Someone who's successful is going to take, and when things don't go right, they learn from those times, and they look to others for help. They understand. It's an analogy I saw the other day, and it was it was talking about photography, obviously. But it was basically showed a box, and then it showed a little bit more around that box, and it's showing that the amateur photographer, it's like, here's what he thinks is all there is to know, and here's what he thinks he knows of this little bit more. And then another guy steps in, and this is so and so. He's a professional photographer, has how many ever years of experience, and here's his box. And the box of knowledge that he says that he has is about 2 or 3 times the size of the other person. And then it says, and this is what photographer B thinks that he doesn't know. And the area of space around the box of what, the guy with all the experience, the box his is 3 times the size of what he knows about. And that's something to think about. It's like realizing that you might be really good at taking pictures. You might take some really amazing pictures of flowers, but there may be somebody else that takes even better pictures of flowers, and knows a whole lot more, and knows that there's way more with flower photography that person doesn't even know. So it's just always practicing, always learning from everything you do. Learn from your successes and learn from the other times. It's Failure's going to happen. Things aren't going to go 100% of the time. If that was the case, this world would be a vastly different place. So keep that in mind when you're doing stuff. And also, in today's age of social media, if you post something online, or you're sharing something online, always remember to just try and have that thick skin. Don't let the negative comments and the negativity in there when you post something, and people be receptive to the people that say, hey, I see what you were trying for. Next time, try this. Those are the people that you want to listen to. The people that say, sell your camera gear, sell your whatever, you're obviously not good at this, and only have negativity to put in there, but nothing to help. Ignore those posts. They're just. I like to think that they're the ones that just had a rough day or something. They just need some. They just have some steam to blow off, and you happen to be the person that caught that. It's not fair. Life's not really the fairest thing around, but it happened. So, just learn. Like I said, don't be afraid of failure. If you fail, you fail. Just like they said, your parents said, or your family told you when you were growing up, when you fall off the bike, you don't just, push the bike back in the garage, get mom and dad or whoever to put a Band-Aid on your skin, knee, and your elbow, and the palm of your hand, and, fix you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You got back up on that bicycle with the scraped up knee, with the hand that was burning because you scraped it against the concrete. And you kept trying again. You may have fallen a second time and a third time, but eventually you were riding that bike like and the little kids were like, I want to ride my bike like him. When you were riding around the neighborhood. So always keep trying. So thanks for watching.